On this project there's been a large focus on making sure that our construction staff do the right thing, making sure that we get the best outcome that we possibly can for the communities that we work within, and making sure that the impacts of the project are as they're supposed to be and minimised as much as possible.
Before the project started, we did consultation with the community to get an idea of who was going to be most impacted by construction of the Expressway as well as the operation of the Expressway.
It's really important with a project of this scale that we make the best effort that we possibly can to reduce the impacts on those communities.
This is their home, this is where they live, we're visitors to their land, so we're doing everything we can to minimise our impact on them for the 3 years that we're here.
Where we are working in close proximity to residents, there are some noise restrictions that we place on the project, and where we exceed a certain level of noise, we've got to start implementing a whole bunch of noise mitigation measures and managing our work so that we're minimising the impact of the community. The construction guys themselves do a huge amount of work in making sure things are run correctly. They do an extensive amount of monitoring of all sorts of things, including vibration, noise, water quality, dust, just to make sure that we're complying with all the requirements that we have to.
The area in the Sugarloaf Ranges is quite heavily vegetated. It is an important movement corridor for fauna from Sugarloaf Ranges down through to the Hexham Swamp, and it is very important in terms of fauna movement around the area and biodiversity in the region.
One of the features of the project is the bridge viaduct area that you can see behind me. That was a substantial modification to our original project. It originally had a cut and fill across this area, which means that the whole valleys behind me was filled in and would have blocked fauna connectivity in the north-south area. And what we've introduced into the project is a series of bridge viaducts up to around 800 metres to 1,000 metres in length in total, to be able to provide better fauna connectivity through that particular green corridor.
So at the moment we're standing under our third land bridge, which is viaduct number 3. This bridge was designed originally with the piers actually being not offset. When we found out about that original design, we looked at it and we saw that the piers actually landed in the creek. So we've got Blue Gum Creek down the bottom here, and unfortunately the piers were designed to impact on that creek. So what we've been able to do with the designers is just discuss offsetting the pier locations, and then that way we could span the creek and obviously reduce any impacts to that significant waterway. We've been able to adopt a long span through the viaduct bridges. In terms of environmental management, we want to have long spans so that we reduce the footprint impacts, the direct impacts to vegetation underneath. We've chosen a balanced cantilever design for the viaducts bridges, and that allows us to go to maximum span lengths. It's the construction that ensures minimal impact underneath the bridges, and it just allows us to keep that connectivity for fauna. There are lots of different mitigation measures we implement for fauna protection during the project. One of those is installation of nest boxes right at the start of the project, so that when clearing does occur, there are nest boxes in the surrounding vegetation. We also install fauna fencing along the length of the project, and that's primarily to stop collisions with fauna when the road is opened.
One of the other things we've been doing and advising on the Hunter Expressway are these underpasses, and part of the underpasses, so these are the culverts underneath the road, is installing things like these post and rails, again for arboreal fauna. So what it is, the setup is generally a series of poles with wooden rails linking them, and then they go through the culvert and back out the other side. It's all about trying to get connectivity, get these populations sharing their genes across the barrier of the road. So any way we can encourage that, and that post and rail setup is a really good simple way to do that.
To manage dust on the Hunter Expressway, Agrigroups employs a large fleet of water carts. This way we can have a water cart that's available on site at any time and suitable for the type of activity that we're been trying to manage. We also aim to reuse as much water as possible from our site, so we're not drawing on water sources from the town or from creeks or nearby areas to manage that dust suppression and have the least impact on the environment. We've got permanent stations out to monitor dust, which Group runs in conjunction with RMS. These monitors monitor real-time dust. We also have dust bottles out, which we collect monthly to record our dust, send away to the laboratory to get our monthly readings.
Water quality management on the Hunter Expressway is extremely important. We cross numerous water bodies on the project. They're in pristine condition and it's our obligation to maintain that. I think the biggest thing about water quality on the construction project is making it a bit of a culture for the construction team. The guys out here are really aware of the circumstances here and the significance of the environment we're working in. So everyone from the labourers up to senior management have a focus on maintaining good water quality during the construction to leave a positive legacy.
We put a big focus in the early parts of the project to putting in clean water drains and sediment basins so that we could capture a lot of the dirty water that runs off the site.
Behind me here we have the start to the construction of a box culvert on the Hunter Expressway. The bed that I'm standing is the clean water diversion, 90% of the existing creek line. It just enables the clean water from upstream to pass through the project site with minimal to no impact from our works.
When we build projects like this these days, it's the whole environment that we look at. So right through this area, we're doing a lot of rehabilitation works in areas that have eroded in the past. So where we have spare vegetation and topsoil, we mulch that vegetation and rehabilitate a lot of those already eroded areas. So we look at the project as a whole and the environment as a whole, not just the road construction works essentially.
This particular project has purchased a whole bunch of significant bushland areas and we're in the process of handing that land over to national parks with a contribution to the management of the area in perpetuity. So basically what that means is that there'll be national parks for the preservation of flora and fauna and also for the enjoyment of the community of the Hunter in perpetuity.
We had a lot of different teams working on different activities and it was essential that we all work together to produce the outcome.
I personally feel that there's a great commitment to making sure that we implement all the environmental requirements of the project and really ending up with a world-class project for the community of the Hunter. What I'd really like to be able to do is to drive through the job and see a great rehabilitation job. I'd like to see native species growing all over the project. But not only that, I'd like to be able to come back in 20 years' time and show my kids that I helped build this project. And I'll be able to show them areas that, of vegetation that I've saved or areas of vegetation that we've put an extra effort in and be able to show, I guess, my children what efforts we've gone to provide a quality environment to this project.